Hey, what's up, people? Welcome to another episode of the Straight Shootin Reviews. I am Straight Shootin LJA, and today I want to review something, a quite interesting recent program called The Drowning. Now, this was on Channel 5 and is on, I think, My 5 at the moment. If you want to catch up, I'll try and put the link in the description. But it was a really interesting program. Executive producer, one of them was actually Noel Clarke as well, so that was quite interesting. There's a little wrinkle there, but basically the show, the lead character, Jodie, aka Jill Halfpenny, is basically haunted by the son that her and her husband, ex-husband now in the show, had lost. So basically they had a little boy called Tom who was 4 years old. There was a family out in by the lake, and basically little Tom went missing, presumed dead and presumed drowned, but no body was ever found. So it was an interesting little storyline, just kind of built just based off that. But yeah, as the story went on, it's only 4 episodes, which I'll get into later. It's only 4 episodes, and about an hour long each, so not too bad time-wise. A little condensed, but still. But yeah, it was a very, very good storyline. But basically, the Jodie character that Jill Halfpenny plays absolutely fantastically. I won't give away too many spoilers, but it's a case of she's basically haunted because she blames herself for the loss of her son, who I said was 4 years old at the time. So basically it's a nice little storyline with kind of twists, turns, swerves. Jodie, as Jill Halfpenny, at one point sees a boy with literally the same scar as her son Tom, and it's a very distinctive scar, so it's not something that you're going to mistake easily. So it's one of them. So she basically pursues this young boy called Daniel, and they knew, and basically the police were investigating. They were basically going to close the investigation due to lack of evidence. But there was one family. One of the original kind of swerves was that there was one family initially that didn't come forward in terms of the investigation as witnesses. There was a husband and wife who didn't come forward at the lake, who saw something, but they'd never been able to track them down. And remember, this was now 10 years later. So the Drowning series actually set 10 years after Tom had gone missing, disappeared. So Jill Halfpenny's character Jodie basically spots a child who looks remarkably like her missing, presumed dead son. So she basically, everybody else kind of chalks it up to grief, and it was just coming up on the 10-year anniversary of Tom's disappearance and the apparent death. But the Jodie character kind of turns, not necessarily stalkerish or kind of paedophile-ish, but basically she spots this kid and she ends up getting a job with fake DBS papers at a school to get closer to the boy, just to verify that it is her son. Now, she kind of verifies it visually, and then there's a DNA test later on. I won't reveal too much because I want people to actually go and see it. But it is one of them. It is a very interesting little swerve with the DNA test. And then there's a second DNA test at one point as well. As said, not going to reveal any spoilers. But one thing I did like about it, even though it was only 4 episodes, they were an hour long. And for me, what an hour gives you time-wise, it gives you time to really kind of flesh out a story and lay foundations, which is basically what they did for the first 2 episodes. And my only problem is the fact that it was only 4 episodes. And for me, they could have had 2 more episodes, because for me, it was really good the way they told the story with Ade as well, with his character. But there were a lot of loose ends. and also with Yasmin as well. She probably could have been used a little more, but it seemed like they tried to condense kind of 6 to 10 episodes worth of stuff into 4. And apparently a lot of people were actually fuming about the ending. And it's like, well, I thought the ending was actually pretty good. It was an interesting little swerve, an interesting couple of little swerves. At the end, I said, not here to offer spoilers. I want you to go and watch The Drowning on Channel 5 or My 5. And it was one of them where my only disappointment is just the pure fact that it could have had 2 more episodes. I feel that it could have had 2 more episodes because the finale, as good as it was, could have been a lot better. Because what they could have done is they could have used a whole episode to really build the end. So, but as I said, the finale did feel some nice tunes right there. But anyway, but yeah, I feel the only bad thing about it, I felt the storytelling was very good. They laid the foundations with Jodie, and especially explaining the grief. And also, well, the grief that she was going through, and the 10-year anniversary, bringing up old feelings and that kind of thing. And obviously, I said not gonna play spoiler because I actually want you to go and watch it and see the plot twists and turns. I think it's very, very well done for the short kind of time span that they had. As said, it's only 4 episodes, an hour long each episode. But as I said, I just think that the finale was a bit rushed because there were a lot of loose ends with Yasmin, with Ade, but especially with Jodie, and also as well with Daniel's dad, aka Tom, Daniel's dad. Now, there are a couple of interesting moments where it's like you think Daniel's dad is the heel or the villain, but by the end of it, I said, because of the swerves, because of the last minute swerves, it gets very, very interesting, and everybody trying to kind of not necessarily cover it up, but make Jodie think that she's going crazy when she's not. But she got kind of led down a path, and as I said, I'm trying my hardest not to play spoiler here, but as I said, the only real issue that I had was just that the ending was a bit rushed. I like the way they went with it, but I think it needed a bit more explanation. Hopefully The Drowning will get a season 2. Not sure how they'd really do it, because it's kind of one of them shows where, with the storyline that it has at its foundation, at its core, it kind of lends itself only to doing 1 season of it. But I would actually love to see a 2nd season, and props to the writers, because the writing was very, very well done. The characters were very well developed. There were a couple times where Daniel's dad as the heel or as the villain, I kind of felt that there was one scene in particular where he was shouting, where it would have made a lot more sense if he'd been a bit more reserved or a bit more calmer. Because sometimes the calmer someone is as a villain, the more sinister they come across. And I think they were trying to get Daniel's dad to be a little sinister at times. It was basically the moment where, oh, you lost your son. I said, try not to play spoiler. You lost your son. There's no way I'm letting you take mine. Instead of screaming that line as Daniel's dad did, he could have kind of dropped a bit of bass in his voice and goes, yeah, you may have lost your son, but there is no way that you're taking mine. Because for me it would have come across a lot sinister, as opposed to, you lost your son, there's no way I'm letting you take mine. It's like the moment didn't really, I don't know, I think that could have been done differently. But that and the finale, it's one of them was where I said, I know I keep coming back to it, but the finale came across a little rushed. But overall, I loved the storytelling, and I said, felt that it could have had a couple more episodes so that we see the fallout of what was the finale. It could have done with another episode at least to kind of flesh out, okay, what's going to happen with Jodie? There was a passport issue in that as well, which was interesting. There was the issue with Daniel's dad. So yeah, I said trying my hardest not to play spoiler, but there were a lot of loose ends that could have been tied up with an extra episode at the end, to say a 6th episode, and have that finale have a 5th episode to build that finale, and then leave it on a cliffhanger, and then have the 6th episode maybe to have that, have the rest of, you could have had the rest of the 4th episode to build up that finale, and use, like, say 2/3 of a 5th episode to really ramp up, build that finale, and have the swerve. I said, try not to play spoiler, have the swerve in the lake, and then, to kind of, because they had the full circle moment. It was one of them, I think you could have used pretty much 45 minutes to really build that up, and then have everything really kind of tied together. Maybe leave the 5th episode on a cliffhanger, and then come into the 6th episode strong by revealing what happened at the end of the cliffhanger, and then rolling into, all right, cool, so what's the fallout from the finale? Because there were a lot of characters obviously affected. There was Yasmin, there was Ade, there was Daniel and his dad. There was a lot of loose ends that could have had an episode to clear up. But as said, very, very good stuff. Shout out to Channel 5 on that one. Some very, very good drama. Hey, it's what the Brits do best, eh? But it was very, very well done. The storylines were very good and very well thought out as well. I said props to Noel Clarke getting it as an executive producer on that. You can really see some of his stamps in terms of storytelling, so shout outs on that one. But I thought The Drowning was actually very, very good. Very well done, very good story. They laid the foundations down nicely. You got the emotional investment into characters as well, which I think is so important for storytelling, because if you don't get people emotionally invested, the characters don't matter, and if the characters don't matter, then any sort of finale doesn't really matter, because the payoff doesn't matter. Just because, well, why should I care if I'm not emotionally invested? So, I mean, me and my partner, basically, we watched it over about 2 to 3 nights, and it was like, yeah, that was time well spent. So, yeah, let me know what you think. I want to know what you think. Comment section is below. Let me know what you thought of the Channel 5 broadcasted drama, The Drowning. I said available on My 5. Let me know what you thought of it. Did you think the storytelling was good? Did you think the finale was a bit rushed? Did you think that there could have been a couple more extra episodes just to really kind of put a bow on everything? Did you think that? I know I did. I have been Straight Shootin LJA. Remember, at SSLJA on Twitter. Tweet with me, follow me, see what I am up to. And also other reviews as well. The Straight Shootin Reviews on youtube.com/LJA Productions 07 is where you can find the Straight Shootin Reviews. I've reviewed some other things as well, so kind of enjoy it. But it is one of the most. Facebook.com/Straight Shootin, no G at the end of shooting, LJA. Facebook.com/Straight Shootin LJA. Drop that G. So, I will see you next time. Thank you for your time. Thank you for joining me for yet another Straight Shootin review, this time of The Drowning, the Channel 5 drama. Go see it and let me know your views. Comment section is below. See you next time, people.